Today we're going to focus on sequences. Sequences are just like functions. The only thing is our domain value starts with 1. So rather than doing a t-table with -1, 0, and 1, we're always going to start with 1 and go on to whatever number of terms they would like us to do. So your terms are actually your sequence itself, and they're also your y values or your range values in a function. So for example, instead of seeing f of x equals 3x plus 1, this is what we are used to seeing, and that is y equals 3x minus 1. And it's the same thing that you have here. It's a sub n equals 3n minus 1. Whereas we would have plugged in 1 to find the y value, 2 to find a y value, and so on. We're doing plug in 1, you get 3, 3 minus 1 is 2. Plug in 2, you get 6, 6 minus 1 is 5, and so all the way down to 6. 3 times 6 is 18, minus 1 and you get 17, and here is your sequence. Now, the way to check your sequence is if you look at 2 and 3, your difference, or sorry, 2 and 5, your difference is 3. 5 and 8, your difference is 3. 8 and 10, 11, your difference is 3. And that's what your leading coefficient was right here. So that's an easy way to check this. So again, when I want you to find your first 6 terms, you plug in 1 and get an answer, plug in 2, get an answer, plug in 3 and get an answer, and so on. Okay, so let's look at, that's how you would write the first 6 terms of his sequence. If we go to the next slide, which is writing the rule for the sequence, the first thing that you need to do is you need to look at this and you need to find the common difference. So I took my sequence, we're always using, since there's 4 terms, I use 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing here, 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to find the common difference here. So the difference between these two is -3. The difference between -5 and 8 is -3. The difference between 8 and -11 is -3. So my common difference is 3. Since I only had to go out one level, it tells me it's a linear. Okay? But here, if I go out with these two, I get 4 is my common difference. The difference between 6 and 12 is 6. The difference between 12 and 20 is 8. So again, I don't have a common difference on the first go around, but I could go out and find the common difference again. So the difference between 4 and 6 is 2. And the difference between 6 and 8 is 2. So my common difference on this one is at the second level, so it's considered a quadratic because quadratics have x squared. So when we write our rules, if I know my common difference is -3, I know I have to take 1 times -3 plus or minus something to get to this answer. So that's why I took all of my plus signs, or that's why I have all these question marks right down here. And same thing here. I know that it's n squared plus a bunch of something else, and that's what I've got to figure out. So when I'm doing this and I go, okay, I know -3 times 1 is -3. What do I have to plug into this question mark to get a -2? So if I plug in 1, I get -2. -6 plus 1 gives me -5. -9 plus 1 gives me -8. Now this is just by plugging in the negative, or the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4 right next to your -3. Again, -12 plus 1 gives me -11. So my rule is -3 times my n value, and my n value came from these right here, which is your x value, is the rule. Now, you check to make sure that it works. So if I plug in 4, 4 times -3 is 12. -12 plus 1 gives me 11. So I'm good. Now over here though, when I square 1, because again, common difference is at the second level, so it's a squaring. When I square something, 1 plus blank equals 2. Well, that would be a 1. 4 plus something equals 6. Well, that would be a 2. Now, again, I'm getting these by 3 squared because common difference is 9. 9 plus what equals 12? Well, that's a 3. 4 squared is 16. 4 plus what gives me 20? And that is a 4. Now, I want you to take a look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4. Our n value is 1, 2, 3, 4. So here, my equation is n squared plus n. That is my formula. It's a sub n equals n squared plus n. And if I plug this in and check to make sure that it works, 4 squared plus 4 equals 20, then I'm good to go. So the rules or steps to writing a rule is to find the common difference between your y values, between your sequence, set up the equation so that you can find the missing values, then write the rule so that you're using a sub n and n, and then you check and make sure that your rule works.